All right then. Hello, all you folks out there in YouTube land. Lord of the Croc Squirrels here with some lovely kitty.
Hello, everybody.
And welcome to Industry Interviews number 4. We have with us today Joost Meulenkamp. Is that right?
Hello. Well, it's not entirely right, but it's Joost Meulenkamp actually, but it's Dutch, so I'll forgive you.
Meulenkamp. Okay, sorry, I'm not Dutch. I've only very rarely heard Dutch, so
Well, it's there's only like a million of us, so it's fine.
Well, the closest I've gotten to Dutch is actually German. So,
German is a lot like Dutch.
Well,
yeah.
All right. So, you are one of like 5 folks that is behind a game called Interstellar Rift. What's the company? What is the company called again? I forget.
Split Polygon.
Split Polygon. Okay. All right then. So what do you do for Interstellar? What have you been doing for Interstellar Rift?
Me personally, or the company?
You.
Well, I am the main UI designer and programmer.
Okay.
And I have done some models as well, textures. I've done all space backgrounds. Basically a lot of stuff because it's a small team, so kind of have to do everything.
So
you are 5 people.
Yes, we are 5 people, but yeah, sometimes you have to pitch in at some.
Well, you probably got a regular modeler. You probably got
we do that.
A general gameplay designer / implementer.
Yeah, there's a lot.
A business guy.
Well,
yeah. And can you tell us about how the team works? How is the team interaction? Yes, Split Polygon.
We have a little office here in Breda in the Netherlands, and we have one guy that is he does modeling mostly, and we have 3 programmers and one guy who is also an artist / programmer, so he can do both.
Okay.
And I can do both as well.
Right. So what's the procedure for how does the workflow go for UI design? It's not something I'm actually all that familiar with, despite having made several games.
Well, because it's a small team, I'm pretty much solely responsible for it. So first, when we need, you have seen the game, right? So in the game, there are like actual in-game screens. That's what most of my work goes to. And on those screens, there's like buttons and all kinds of device information on actual devices. And how I do this, I designed the UI first in like Photoshop, and then I cut up the image. I make sure everything is readable. Screen is in the game itself. You have to use way bigger fonts. The buttons need to be way bigger because it's not a full screen thing.
Right.
And you can only display so much on a screen that's actually in the world.
Right.
And still make it legible.
Well, I know we've actually had some really interesting UI pieces in there.
There's a lot of them.
Well, I know the mining interface is the mining and and refining interface is kind of strange, or at least in my little brain. Three little screens on monitors to get kind of from here to there. I know something that tripped Kitty up quite a lot was trying to get her to get on the teleporter pad when she's got an oversensitive mouse and is looking at it as a slideshow.
That's the graphics card issue you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, and the mouse is oversensitive, and I didn't tone down. Yes, I should have gone to settings and toned down the mouse sensitivity. It was horrible. I got lost in space on my first attempt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, she couldn't even find her targets anymore. Somehow she managed to wind up warping in reverse. I have no idea how she did that.
I've never seen that before, but
I'm just watching her do this. I'm like, what are you doing? She's going the wrong way. Like, wow.
I'm not sure how you work in reverse. That's quite interesting.
I can't tell you how I did that, but it happened.
Well,
I wouldn't take it too seriously. She's been known for breaking games, so just doing weird shit it was never intended to. All right. Anyway,
it's good to know anyway. So if you run into it again, it'll be
something. Yeah. All right. So you actually released this game in early access in 2015.
Yes.
You said, and you were looking at sometime this year actually having a full release.
That's the plan. Yes.
Is that still the plan, or?
That is still the plan.
Okay, good.
We can't give a date yet.
Well, obviously, you're. The thing we got was actually labeled an alpha. Yeah, actually, believe it or not.
Soon, and then, if all goes well, hopefully, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say done.
Do you think about some price change when it leaves the early access stage?
Yeah, we'll probably raise it a bit. Yeah.
Well, right now the game's like $15. So.
Yes.
And originally you guys sent me a copy of the game. I wasn't the one that actually asked for it. I'm kind of because I hadn't even really intended to look at it, but your message was so nice, and I said, okay, let's try it. You also gave me your email address, which is how we're in this position right now.
Yeah, I mean, I do like people giving feedback and get back to me, and so.
Actually, there was one thing that aggravated me in windowed mode that I didn't get, that it didn't seem to pop up in full screen mode. It was the UPnP hunting. It was hunting for UPnP connections, and I don't know why.
Well, if you're hosting a server, it does that.
Well, no, I was in the tutorial.
Oh, that shouldn't happen.
And it was actually popping over the game screen.
It also shouldn't be visible. But
yeah, I got a little thing there, and okay.
Watched yesterday from you playing that video you made.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any of that, but
you probably wouldn't have, because it wouldn't. Even if it didn't happen because I was running it full screen. And even if I hadn't been, XSplit wouldn't have picked it up. You would have just heard me complaining about it.
All right.
I had all kinds of that we'd actually tucked into it the night before, to just kind of have a look and see how the training went, and it was doing that about every 30 or 40 seconds, and I was like, it popped right up over, and I can't see anything. Wow.
That's a bug there, because I've never seen it do that before.
All right. So, next question. What possessed you to send me a copy? I'm kind of curious.
Well, I just looked at some YouTubers and yeah, you were one of the lucky ones, I guess.
Outstanding. Because I know this channel is actually kind of small, so.
Yeah, but I looked at like people who covered similar stuff.
Oh, I know I did some Elite Dangerous and some other stuff. So yeah, well, that kind
yeah, I thought maybe you'd be interested, and a lot of other people.
Well, originally, like I said, I was going to give it I was just going to give it a pass. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they give it to me, and even if they did, I'm not sure what. I'm not sure. I wasn't necessarily sure what to expect. And
actually, we both are sci-fi fans.
Oh, that's cool.
We're nuts. We've also been playing Kerbal Space Program a lot recently, so building ships is not exactly new to us. Speaking of, whose idea was the ship editor?
Well, that was actually the first thing that was finished, or I mean, working in the entire game.
Really?
That was the plan from the beginning, actually.
Oh, well, that's always interesting.
Actually, I have a question that should be my first question to you. How did you guys came up with the idea for the game and the game mechanics?
Well, we are fans of space games, and like 3 years ago, or 4 now, I guess, we came up. We were playing Gary's mod, with a space build pack or whatever it's called, and we were like, we can do this better.
How many visual novels have I done that were launched on exactly the same premise?
Yeah,
I could do this better than that.
We can make this way cooler.
Well, apparently it seems like you managed it. I was pleasantly surprised.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Those interfaces that you mentioned in game, those in-game screens, are actually pretty cool.
They are quite nice, and the thing that I actually was big on was that they made sense in context. There's a lot of UIs that don't do that.
Yeah, I try to make them fit with the device that they're on. In the mining ones and the refining ones are actually pretty old. I do want to change some things. Yeah.
That's one thing that Carpet Squirrel loved was during the mining that it showed the different asteroids and you could zoom in on the asteroid being mined. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it also shrinks in the miner itself.
Yeah, and I don't have to do like I would in Elite Dangerous thing, go out or even the originally go out and just shoot the damn things. That's just that got annoying in a hurry.
Well, there is actually a mining laser in the game, or a strip miner, but it's really big and it only targets like really large asteroids.
And then you break them up and go to the nearest station and go zap them.
No, it just you have to like hover your ship above it and then shoot the laser down.
Yeah. Okay. On to the character creator. What was up with that? How did that come about?
Well, at first we didn't want to do a character customization thing, but then we got an art intern, and then there was some time left to add faces and hair and everything. So yeah.
I actually enjoyed. I made a character completely different from Crocoscoros.
I went for the camouflage / OD green, and she went pink.
Yeah, you can do that.
And silver hair and purple eyes.
You can do any
It
color
came
you
out
like.
quite cool.
Well, I don't know. I was thinking it might actually do, but I was thinking maybe some more faces. They're all incredibly stylized.
Yeah, they're not meant to be really realistic though.
Well, yeah, a few different ones might help, but anyway, that's not here nor there. So, how about we dive into some history? How did Split Polygon come together?
Well, we're 5 guys who went to school together, basically. We did game architecture and course at
Okay, hang on a second. Can you run that by me again?
Okay, so we did the we started when we were students. We were all in university together, or university is like a college actually. I don't know what the American equivalent is.
Well, it's actually honestly the two words are generally interchangeable and most decidedly used to refer to the same types of things. So,
right, okay. So, university / college, and they had a game design course, or it's called game architecture and development. They still have it. And when we were in our second year, we got this idea for Interstellar Rift. So,
okay, I'm having a hard time hearing you, guy. Sorry, Joost, I'm having a real hard time hearing you.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're kind of fuzzing in and out.
You're breaking up.
1 second. Let me. Is this
better? Better, but not great. We'll work it out as we go.
1 second.
Much better.
Is this better?
Yes, much better.
Okay.
Yeah, don't use your mobile data for this, man. It takes a while. All right.
It was the yeah. I was using the 4G. I did use the wireless. I thought I was using the wireless, but
yeah, these things happen. So, you say you guys were all students at university taking a specific course.
Yes, the game architecture and development course at the HTV in Breda, which is the name of the university. So yeah, we're playing games together. I mean, just friends. While we're playing Gary's mod, as I mentioned earlier, we got this idea, and then we started working on it in our free time. We actually had made some games before at like game jams together, so we knew we could work together well.
And
so
yeah,
technically, it was not your first game.
No.
Your first release was your first.
Yeah, it's our first like commercial thing. The other ones were just like prototypes and never really got to something. But so I don't have those games anymore. Actually, they're lost somewhere.
Lost to time and game jams.
Yeah, they weren't any good either. So.
Well, okay.
So yeah, and then now it's years later, and we released on early access, and yeah, we're heading towards beta and then release. So.
Okay. What engine are you guys using?
Sorry?
What engine are you guys using?
It's our own engine, actually.
Really?
Yes,
that's why I couldn't identify it.
Yeah, that might be it. No, the Interstellar Rift has some really specific demands for the engine, and while you can probably do it with Unity and Unreal these days, but back in the day, they were really in their infancy. So we started using our own engine, which one of us had made as a project for school or university.
Uh-huh. It's generally just school, right?
Yeah. So the engine itself was also a project for when you were at university?
Well, it was a personal project of one of us, and we just expanded on it.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting. There's one thing. How was the feedback from the beta testers and during the early access? How the consumer base and also the volunteers and the gaming community in general, how was the feedback?
You mean right now or back when we released?
When you released and up to now, you're
Well,
still in early access, so probably there is some feedback going on.
Yeah. There is a lot of feedback going on, actually. We have some really users that put like thousands of hours into it. So they're leaving a lot of feedback. There's also a lot of bugs that they report, so that's good. So we can fix them. And most people seem to like it, so.
Speaking of feedback, how do you deal with negative feedback?
Well, it depends really. If it's constructive criticism, then yeah, I'm really fine with it. In fact, I welcome it. It lets you see what you're doing wrong, what can be better. I mean, if it's just like ranting or whatever.
Well, I know a lot of people rant, so.
Yeah, I mean, if they're just not making much sense, I would try to correct them if they're actually wrong about something or didn't understand it. I would be like, hey, understand this correctly, here's how it works, and then maybe, and if they're done, that's fine too. I mean, every piece of feedback, be it positive or negative, is useful.
So, in some way.
Yeah, in some way. If you get many of these angry reviews or comments, you'll be like, hey, why are these people getting so angry? So, I mean, every review is useful.
Well, you get a bunch of people that are mad, and as long as they state what they're mad about, then maybe it works. I don't know.
Yeah, but also people playing the game on YouTube or something, and you can actually see what they're doing in the game, what issues they run into. Isn't really what isn't the clear and you can find that out. I mean, from watching people, you can see, hey, I need to make this better because that guy did not be clearer, or just make it better.
Well, there's always the whole thing about 500 people going, "Oh, this is shit," or you get positive reviews on Steam that say, best way to assassinate my money, 11 of 10. And it's like, what?
Yeah, those are just. I mean, you can't really do much with those.
Yeah, no, I see those a lot.
They're always. The majority is constructive and is useful.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I'm actually seeing a review that is a negative review that says that they wouldn't recommend the game, most likely not, because the game is hardly playable when you navigate with your ship. Every moment your ship spins out of control. They probably should adjust your mouse. They are having the issue that I had.
Maybe.
Well, I did notice we seem to have some sort of. Oh, go ahead, Kitty. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't play the game. I knew that it was my mouse. I got lost in space, so I tried to track back. It wasn't possible, so okay, let's start the tutorial over again. Let's do it. But I knew that it was a mouse issue, not the game issue.
Oh. Yeah, I did notice that the spacecraft seems to have some sort of aerodynamics. I can't figure out how that works. We keep creeping off, just creeping little bits off course.
It's a bit arcade style of. It's not true. Like it doesn't. It has some drag to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not realistic space physics. So.
Well, no, I wasn't expecting that. This is a Kerbal Space Program, after all.
No, yeah. If you want realistic space physics, you'll have to play a game like that. Yeah.
It's like Kerbal Space Program or Elite Dangerous, which I will probably do at some point.
Yeah, but this is just so you can get from A to B and do stuff like with not too much effort. Like in Kerbal, for example, it's really hard to get two spacecraft to meet up, and so yeah.
Some people, you know what? Honestly, I think that would actually come with practice. I don't know.
Yes, it does. I mean, but it's kind of a learning curve, and we didn't want that.
Yeah.
We wanted people to have fun flying the ships and not having to learn a whole lot of mechanics.
Yeah. We are all for fun. People currently are making lots of requirements of what a game should have, but people forget that that one thing that a game should have is fun for people that are playing it.
Well, if the game's not fun, people are going to stop playing it. Games like Kerbal Space Program have a very limited, have a somewhat limited reach for people that are actually going to play it, because, well, there's only so many people that want to be rocket scientists. Most of the people I see playing Kerbal Space Program are more interested in whether or not they can blow up the Kerbals on the launch pad.
I mean, if they're having fun with that, that's fine as well. I mean,
all right. So, I think we've got most of the background stuff dealt with. So, what are your plans after the full release?
Well, we do want to make some more updates to it, and eventually we want to start on a new game as well. So
okay.
We have some
Do you already have an idea, or you are discussing ideas?
We're discussing ideas. It's nothing solid yet.
Well, Can you tell us what maybe some of these are? That would be fun.
If you can tell about it, if you cannot, that's okay.
Well, I don't want to make any predictions, so.
Okay, fair enough.
That's okay.
Fair enough.
I don't want to get people's hopes up or hopes down or whatever. I just prefer not to specify until we actually have a plan.
Or at least have picked one.
Yeah.
So, any plans to add things like planets or planetary landings or anything like that?
No, we do not want to add planetary landings. We do get this question quite often, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much work. It's like making a second game on top of an already very complicated one.
Yeah, just ask the folks at Hello Games. They'll tell you all about that.
I mean, they. No, it's not the plan. We, depending on maybe if it after release sells really well, we can hire a few extra people. Then maybe. I'm not making any promises. At this moment, we don't have a plan to do this.
All right. I suppose you get a lot of people asking for things like survival elements too.
Yeah, but there are a lot of survival aspects already in it.
Well, we don't have the babysitting meters. There's no food or water or oxygen meters. So
there is food and oxygen meters.
What? Well, there's an oxygen meter I'm aware of, but
and you can. There is food, but it's only used as like a health option. So if you eat it, you get health.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not well. That's not actually a bad idea. A lot of major games do the same thing. Fallout, for example, the Fallout series.
Mechanic. It's nothing really. You make it meat you killing aliens, but that's about it.
Okay.
Personally, it's a me thing. I don't like to babysit all the survival needs of
our protagonist.
The protagonist in order to continue the game. Survival games are not something that I choose to play.
No, it's currently it's more the survival of the ship rather than the player.
Yeah.
Right.
So you manage the systems, you repair it, you fuel it, whatever. So yeah.
Mm.
Feed the ship. Feed the ship.
Yeah, basically. But you can purchase fuel as well.
Well.
So,
what's the biggest size ship you've ever seen somebody make?
The biggest size. Well, I think it was 2 weeks ago. There was this one guy, massive ship. It was absolutely huge. Well, it was basically just a giant box, but literally everything in the game crammed in it 100 times
over. Oh, damn!
I was surprised it even ran. So not the biggest one I've ever seen. It's not the prettiest one, but no, I was surprised that actually loaded. But
and I can imagine how much xanthium is required to get that thing from one system to the next. Holy crap!
Yeah, a lot.
Well, if it's, I tend to think about it this way: if it's bigger than the station it's trying to it's hanging out near, you're probably a little too big.
Yeah. Well, like a really slender one, like stubby short.
Yeah, we haven't actually looked into the multiplayer options. What have you got for that? What do you got for us there?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I said, well, we haven't looked into the multiplayer options just yet. What have you got for us there?
Well, you can do everything you can do in single player, but with 2 players. So you can have like one guy or girl doing the mining and refining, while another guy flies the ship. And we also have turrets that can be manned by players, so you can sit in a turret and shoot at stuff.
Or people.
Or you can have 2 ships if you want, and fight stuff together, or do missions together, or whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. So
multiplayer as well.
Additional corollary question. I did notice the single player, the solo player, still has to connect to the servers.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It makes a server on your own PC that you then join yourself.
Ah, okay. So that's what's going on there. I kind of wondered.
No, it makes a server that only you can join, and it isn't advertised to the master server, so it doesn't show in the list, and then it'll join it.
Okay, so the onboard, so solo play is true solo play. You don't even have to be online for that.
No, you don't.
All right, cool. That's even better. I noticed it. I was just looking at it. What is that actually trying to connect to the master server? What? No.
It's
Okay.
to yourself.
I can connect to myself. I know how. All right then.
List of the servers, but if you block that IP or anything, or you have no, it just won't show servers in this.
Okay. So what are you guys planning? Any kind of like a campaign story or anything like that?
At the moment, no. There are a few missions, and they're randomly generated in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But at the moment, it's a bit of a sandbox environment.
Okay.
You're not quite adding more factions.
Oh, we might add some more.
Well, there are factions currently. I mean, you got.
There is like 6.
Yeah.
7 if you count the Skrill as well, the aliens.
Yeah.
Actually, but.
Well, you can't exactly join the Skrill.
No, you can't join it.
So will there be the will there be the?
You could if we let you, but because they work the same as any other faction.
Mm-hmm.
Just isn't there, and the command doesn't get. But
yeah. Well, we can't be a Skrill, so that's unfortunate. Too bad, really. Okay. I think that's about it as far as I'm concerned. You got anything else, Fair Kitty?
I had a question to the gamers part of the team, or just used. Your game's currently still in early access.
Yes.
And as not as a developer, but as a consumer, because you are also a gamer, we noticed that a lot of games never leave the early access stage. What do you think about it?
Well, what I think about it is that if the game is good, if I enjoy it, I don't really care if it's in early access or not. And even big games that aren't in early access still get updates and stuff. So these days, there isn't too much different in it. That's my opinion. So.
All right. Do you have any questions for us?
I can't really think of one, actually.
Yeah. That's been known to happen. Well, no, we're just right now. We're kind of just playing the game. We're kind of just playing the reporter game at the moment. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I just hope you're enjoying our game, and
well,
yeah.
I know I had some fun with it yesterday. So
Yeah.
the first time through was kind of difficult initially. It's like, why isn't my iron and copper incrementing? Oh, right. If I read the little sidebar, it says I have to go to the refinery. Where's the refinery? Oh, it's right next door. Right next door to the vault. I had my vault stuff so full it was not even remotely funny.
Yeah, the tutorial is a bit clunky at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
As we still keep adding stuff, it'll probably stay clunky for a bit until we're done adding new stuff and just polishing
the existing stuff.
Yeah, it makes no sense having to redo the tutorial every time we do a patch.
Yeah, because that turns out to
development time, and the time is better spent actually getting the new stuff in and then doing the whole tutorial as one single thing. So I mean, this one does teach the absolute basics, but there's a lot more in the game that we would like to have in the tutorial as well, and split it up into multiple parts as well.
Okay, if you had a message for the gamers, the customer base, what would it be?
Well, please, if you have any bugs or run into any issues, let us know. Because if we don't know, we can't fix them.
All right, fair enough.
Hope you're enjoying it, of course.
Yeah.
All right then.
I think we're much it.
All right. I think we're about covered. I want to thank you for dropping in. Dearly appreciated.
No problem.
Just hang out here for a minute. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and clear this out. But hang about for a minute here, and we'll natter back and forth after this. All right. So again, I think that's going to be it for us today. Thank you, Joost, for dropping in. I know this is actually taking some time away from family or whatever.
No, I'm just at home. It's fine.
All right then. So, till the next time we see you folks, be safe, be sane.
And let's make games fun again.
See ya.